Welcome back to another episode of Two Drunk Guys and a Football Podcast. I am your host, Skinny Domestic. As you can clearly see, I'm by myself today, as the Hammer has officially quit the podcast because I beat him in fantasy. So he's moping over that. No, he didn't quit, but he had something come up, unfortunately, so I'm just doing a brief episode so we can get our content out, make sure we have our weekly episode out. But I did beat him in fantasy last week of our Super Bowl, the first time we ever played each other in the playoffs. So he's very sad about that. He didn't talk to me for like 12 hours after it happened, so he was definitely hurt. But on the bright side of that, every time I've played him, the week after I've played his wife, and I play his wife this week. So, and she's beaten me. For some reason, I can't beat women in fantasy football. So it'll be interesting to see how this goes. Every time I've beaten Marcus in my league, he's come back and beaten me. Or Brooks, I played her the following week, and then she came in and cleaned up his laundry and beat me. So it'll be an interesting matchup for that. And then we have Lil Austin playing Carp in the other side of the bracket. I think we have the top 4 seeds making it. So 5 and 6 lost. But with the episode today, just going to be very brief. We have news, bad betting, talk about some other fantasy stuff in terms of our Marcus in my leagues. And then we have college football coming up this week for some of the playoffs. And then clearly our pick'ems, save some of this conversation topic stuff that I had for next week for the Christmas episode, as I don't have anybody to talk with. And I could bring it up, but it's not as fun unless you have somebody else to potentially have a different opinion than you on it. So we'll just keep it brief today. Of course, I'll be drinking the whole time. And then next week's episode, we should have Marcus back with everything going on. So with that, we start off with the news. Jameis Winston was benched officially for the Browns, so he will be the backup, as Dorian Finney-Smith will be starting. So fantasy implications there is, I don't think Jerry Jeudy is going to be as good of a receiver once that happens. Nick Chubb's been out, so Jerome Ford's taken over. You know, that Cleveland Brown team had a little promise in them offensively, but I think with Winston being benched, it goes out the window there. Chiefs released their former running back, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He has not panned out to what anybody really thought he would be able to do. And then just earlier today, as of the episode being filmed on Wednesday, he signed with the Saints practice squad. So he found a new home at least for now, and we'll see, what happens there. Being on the practice squad, you typically can sign with other teams, so if any running backs get hurt or anything, maybe Alvin Kamara's injury is a little bit more serious than what was thought of, because he did leave last week's game. Maybe that's the reason why they went and got him there. Michael Vick is the head coach for Norfolk State. It'll be interesting to see what he does with that. A lot of former players getting into coaching, either high school or now at the college level. I guess he had a couple schools that he was looking at going to, but ended up going to Norfolk State. I'm going to assume he's going to get a bunch of his former teammates or people that he coached with to help him out and maybe turn that program around. Drew Alor, he's returning to Penn State for his senior year. He was, I believe, he was a top 10 potential quarterback draft prospects. I want to say probably closer to top 5, honestly. So he's foregoing the draft, and he is going to go back and finish out his senior year at Penn State, which is big because I think he could have been drafted easily in the first 3 rounds. Maybe not first round, but second or third round talent that he had to be drafted. David Montgomery is officially out for MCL, so Lions are just beat up. I think they currently have like 22 different players on their IR spot. They will definitely be impacted that. I have more here. Cornerback Carlton Davis, broken jaw, so he's going to be out. And then defensive lineman Aleem McNeil towards ACL. So the Lions are facing a lot of injuries. Jahmyr Gibbs fantasy stock rises, and of course this is the first week I play him against him in the playoffs. David Montgomery's not going to be there to take any of the touches away. Any of the backups are not going to see David Montgomery's workload. Jahmyr Gibbs is going to skyrocket these next 2 weeks. For fantasy, I guess if you have a week 18 matchup potentially there too, if you have the championship in week 18, you're doing it wrong. Jahmyr Gibbs to the moon, but that Lions defense might struggle a little bit, as we saw against the Bills, allowing 40 plus points, and then as they're fighting for that number 1 seed, that defense is gonna definitely be impacted and potentially could cause them to lose some games with having that many injuries on that side of the ball. Marshall football opted out of their bowl game due to 30 players entering the over or about 30 players entering the transfer portal. Transfer portal has its ups and downs. I do think they need to fix the transfer portal in college football. For one, you get one medical reason, like if you have to sit out for a medical reason in your transfer because you lost your job or whatever, that should be okay. And then the other one should be you get one transfer and you're done. I every year, players being able to transfer every year just doesn't make any sense. I feel like you should have to compete, and if a school wants you, they shouldn't just be like, oh, I'm going to just get you for a year until we can refill your position. And then when it comes to bowl games, I feel like players should not be able to transfer until after their full season is done. So if you make a bowl game, you're required to play that bowl game, you can't transfer until after your bowl game's done. 30 players enter the transfer portal. That's huge. And I know not all these bowl games people say matter, but you made the bowl game. You fought to be one of those teams to be in a bowl game. The big portion is college football playoffs, but can't keep seeing all these people enter the transfer portal and avoid. It sucks to see a team have to opt out of the bowl game for it. Brought it up briefly. Nick Chubb has a broken foot, so he'll be sidelined for a while there. Iowa's getting former Auburn quarterback Hank Brown as a commit, so with McNamara out, bringing in a guy that has been in college, and hopefully it goes better this time with bringing in a quarterback, because McNamara did not pan out well. Odell Beckham waived by the Dolphins, so he hasn't been claimed, so he'll be free to sign anywhere he wants. Be interesting to see if any teams grab him. Not many. Hasn't really been productive. Been injured, so maybe these next couple of weeks some teams deal with some major injuries and he comes back to a team for a playoff push. We'll see. Evan Ingram torn labrum, so he's done. He's been a key piece of that Jags offense, and they're pretty much out for the count. So the injury doesn't affect him that much. But Evan Ingram has been a top 10 tight end fantasy wise. Strange is now the guy for him, so not much else you can really do once you lose him. And then, I mean, Trevor Lawrence has been injured, so then we have a couple extensions. Broncos extend left tackle Garrett Bowles, 4-year, $82 million. $42 million guaranteed, so good signing there. Protect your quarterback, especially the way Bo Nix has been playing, been above and beyond everyone else, what a lot of people expected. So get a guy that can help keep your quarterback protected. And then Budda Baker signed a 3-year, $54 million contract extension with $30 million guaranteed. So he is going to remain a Cardinal for the next 3 years and gets to stay where he was drafted. I think the Cardinals were smart with that. He's a core piece of that defense, and he's been one of the top players in his position since he's been in the league. Now we move on. Hollywood Brown. He has been practicing. He's been on IR for so long, not playing. So Chiefs could potentially get Hollywood Brown back here in the next couple weeks to play. Playoffs will be huge. Adding another potential speedster deep threat. And then Allen for the Commanders. His practice window's been open, so he'll be able to practice. Commanders making a playoff push. Be big to have him back in the playoffs too for that defense. And then the big news, Mr. Kirk Cousins. I know Marcus isn't here. I know Marcus would have had a very good piece on going off about this. But Mr. Kirk Cousins has been benched for Michael Penix Jr. It's shocking. Kirk has finessed the Falcons out of a lot of money. Kirk's the last 5 games has had 1 touchdown and 9 interceptions after starting, I think it was like 17-7 touchdowns, interceptions. So he has fallen off hard. He has not been playing well. They barely beat a Raiders team that they should have just destroyed. It's Penix's time to show why he should have been a more top pick than what he was over some of these other guys. Marcus and I both believe that Penix and Bo Nix were the most, and I guess Jaden Daniels too, were probably the most NFL-ready quarterbacks to be drafted to the league. And Penix has this week, and then I would assume he's going to finish out the year. So he's got 3 weeks to play. And the worst part about it is Kirk has a no-trade clause. So he basically controls the destiny on this, and he's still got 3 years under contract for the Falcons. So the Falcons may have made a mistake if things do not pan out here. Kirk's the ultimate finesse man. He's played in the league for 12 seasons. He's made $321 million, and he only has 1 playoff win. Mark Sanchez, Blake Bortles, and Chad Pennington, they all have something in common. They all have more playoff wins than Kirk Cousins does. And we think of those guys as clowns of quarterbacks. Not very good after maybe 1 year, type thing. So Kirk has definitely been good enough to secure starting roles and make a lot of money, and make a lot of money that he probably doesn't rightfully deserve, unfortunately. But the Falcons are going to be in salary cap hell, at least with him, in terms of what do you do with him if you can't really, unless the team's willing to trade for him and he's willing to go there, it's going to make things difficult, or you cut him. So, but you pay him the salary anyway. So there's going to be things, especially if Penix balls out for him. Sorry. Got a drink in between. Usually I drink when Marcus is talking. So, with that, 3 game scores. Vikings 30, Bears 23. Bears had a real shot to even come back in that game. And potentially win it, to go in and tie it. The Bears are just disgruntled. They are exactly Caleb Williams is what everyone thought Bo Nix was going to be this year. Not be able to complete the deep ball passes, scrambling for the run, getting sacks, not looking good. Yeah, Caleb Williams looked pretty decent, or the team looked decent to start the season, but they have fallen off hard. Bo Nix is exceeding everybody's expectations and isn't just dumping the ball off like everybody thought he was, like how he did in college for the most part. At one point in that Vikings game, Caleb Williams' longest yardage pass, like just through the air, was 4 yards. And then I think he hit DJ Moore or Keenan Allen for like a 15 or 20 yard pass, third or fourth quarter. But he's not being able to throw the ball to the outfield. There was a point in the game where they were breaking down his missed opportunity for throws, and he wasn't even pressured. There was like 4 or 5 passes where he had a receiver that he could have thrown the ball to, but he wanted to scramble instead, and then ultimately either led to a sack or throwing the ball away. He's just not able to read the field, and that's going to be big. He's doing worse than Justin Fields did with a better team in general, and it kind of makes you think, why would the Bears get rid of Justin Fields? You had 2 top 10 picks. You could have kept Justin Fields, could have drafted him. Could have still drafted Rome Odunze at 2 if you wanted to. You could have got whatever you wanted at the first pick, or drafted Malik Neighbors, Marvin Harrison Jr. at the first pick, and then did whatever with the ninth. I probably would have went Joe Alt, draft a receiver. So I think the Bears made a mistake with Caleb Williams. I don't think he's going to be what they planned him to ever be. Might show some promise, might win some games, but I don't think he's going to be when it all comes said and done, he's not going to be the best quarterback that came out of that draft class, and that's unfortunate with the team that the Bears have tried to put around him to be successful right away. And the Vikings, they're just the Vikings. They're looking good, playing good ball. Their defense looks good. Jordan Addison is playing super well at that number 2 position. And then, of course, you have J.J. and Aaron Jones, veteran Aaron Jones for them. Eagles 27, Steelers 13. I expected this game to be a little bit closer, especially with the Eagles having multiple turnovers to start the game. But then, our defense got settled in, offense got settled in, and we were able to control that game. Steelers, I think, are 1 game ahead of the Ravens now in their division, so they had a 2-game one into that. Eagles are on a 10-game win streak, and potentially could finish out the year with winning out still, because we play Cowboys, Giants, Commanders, or Commanders, Cowboys, Giants, I guess in that order, but we play 3 divisional games. We're looking to potentially sweep them all. Depending on where we're at in terms of record, maybe not play Week 18. We'll see. Right now, that number 1 spot's very, very close at this point in time with the Vikings, Lions, and Eagles all having a tie with 2 losses. And then the big game here was the Bills 48, Lions 42. Not many people expected the Bills to really have a chance against how hot that Lions team was. Josh Allen is proving in that game why he definitely is the MVP, or MVP favorite at least for now. 48 points against the Lions team is very impressive. I think their first 3 possessions, they pretty much drove out down the field and scored. I would be afraid to play the Bills right now. They're a very hot team, and Josh Allen's playing out of his mind. Definitely, as a person that has Josh Allen on one of his fantasy teams, definitely helping me out there. And Bills are going to make that push to hope, maybe with Patrick Mahomes having some ankle injuries, being a little bit slower, the luck, I guess, that the Chiefs have kind of had with end of game situations. compared to other teams not having the same type of luck or whatever you want to call it. The Bills are going to make a push for that number one seed for sure, and definitely a team that I would be afraid to see in the playoffs as of right now, the way they've been playing. Bad betting. 1 second, let me take some more drinks. I'm act like somebody's in the background here. All right, bad betting. We did better than the week before, but we still have not hit anything for the last, I want to say, 5 or 6 weeks now in terms of a parlay of it. But on the bright side, we're still up. So currently, bad betting, we're 31-25. We are 2-2 this last week, and then currently, depending on how you've been betting, you should still be up about 270, 300 on the year, just if you have been betting parlays. And then clearly, if you do the no sweat bets and reuse that $10, you basically get $10 and use 2 bets if you've been missing them. So that's where you're saving a little bit of money from. This week we're going to be doing the Bengals -7.5 against the Browns. The Browns are playing younger quarterback. I just don't think that you lose Nick Chubb again. I just don't think that offense is going to be rolling. And the Bengals have to win, and they've been looking good and putting up points. So I know it's divisional, but I think the Bengals got to keep winning to even see the playoffs. So they'll make some big plays. They've been putting up a lot of points, and they have been a hot offense to stop. Give me the Bengals -7.5. Lions are going to have a bounce-back game here. Close one against the Bills. I know they're beat up, but they still have a very high-powered offense against the Bears, who the Bears have not. They played the Lions close on Thanksgiving Day. They just can't seem to get things together. Give me the Lions -6.5 against the Bears. They're going to try to make a statement to show, hey, with that bad loss, we're still one of, if not the best team in the league. We're going to take the Vikings -3 against the Seahawks. And then we're going to take the Bucks -3.5 against the Cowboys. So if you did a $10 parlay for those 4 picks, it'd pay about $116. Odds are subject to change. Depending on where you're betting at, some of those might be a little bit different, maybe 3.5. Those lines will change by the time those games are played sometimes too. And then just getting into fantasy here. So last week I did play Marcus in my league for the first time in the playoffs in the 7 years that we've been doing that together. I beat him 142-122. Came into Monday Night Football, and I was up 69 points. Was a little scared because he did have Bijan, Justin Jefferson, Kyle Pitts, and the Vikings defense still to play. But 40 points from Josh Allen was huge. I had 24 points from Malik Neighbors, 10 from Joe Mixon, and 19 from T. Higgins. And then I had Zach Ertz. He got hurt. I had a lot of low scores. So definitely if I'm going to play his wife Brooke this week, definitely needs some better scores. I know I dropped 142, but I can't rely on Josh Allen scoring 40 points every week. And even Malik Neighbors at the 24 might be a little bit lower there. In Marcus's league, I won 181-162 against Papi Zarate. Shout out to Alonzo. My team, we do a super flex league. I have Jane Daniels go for 21, Kyler Murray go for 18, Josh Jacobs go for 18. Every team, everything on my team just went off. And then this week, so Marcus had to buy in that week. I don't play Marcus, unfortunately, this week. He plays, let's see here, so he plays on the other side of the bracket. So I play Marcus's cousin, who was the number 2 seed. And then Marcus is the number 1 seed playing the number 5 seed. So Marcus definitely has a chance to make the winners bracket in that one for sure. It's the only league that Marcus is currently alive in. I'm alive in all 4 of our leagues still. I had the bye week in our dynasties, and then these 2 leagues. So next week, Marcus could be in the championship game in his league, or potentially be out. I could be in the championship game for 4 different leagues. So we will see what comes into Christmas. Christmas miracles next week, I guess. See what happens there, and then our dynasties, I'm not even going to go look at. I was the second seed in both of them. So, I got 4 leagues. I got to finish first in one of them, right? I need to win a championship in one of them, right? It's been rough. It's been rough. I've finished second and third in pretty much every league for the most part over the last couple of years, and it's been rough to not get over that hump. This week, though, we do have college football playoff games starting December 20th, and then on the 21st we will have some games, which 21st we also have NFL games too. It's like, man, who made the scheduling? Who's like, let's put NFL games on the same days as college football playoffs? I just feel like that's not good communication with that. But I believe there's only one Friday game. The number 10 Indiana versus number 7 Notre Dame. Notre Dame is favored by 7, and I'm going to take Notre Dame to win that game. And then the 21st, I think, are the other 3. 11 SMU versus number 8 Penn State. I'm going to take Penn State. They're favored by 8.5. I'm just going to take Penn State. Number 12 Clemson versus number 5 Texas. Texas is favored by 11.5. I'm going to take Texas to win that one. And then number 9 Tennessee versus number 8 OSU. OSU is favored by 7. And I'm going to take Tennessee for the upset on this one. For some early college football playoffs. Should be a good day. Should be a good weekend with all that too. And then last week we didn't have any pick'ems, so I'm 33 and 25. Marcus is still 30 and 28, which he didn't give me pick'ems for this one, so I will be the only one to have that. And then for NFL pick'ems, let me get it pulled up here. I went 15 and 1 last week, so I'm currently 144 and 90. Marcus went 13 and 3, so he's 161 and 73. So we're both doing above 500 on that. Marcus has been super killing it in the pick'ems, and I think at this rate, 32. This rate, I would be the only one. If I missed every single one of them, I could go under 500, but I don't think that's going to happen in the amount of 3 weeks. But Thursday night, this all got changed. Thursday night was supposed to be the Cleveland Browns versus Cincinnati Bengals, but that has been changed to the Denver Broncos at the LA Chargers. Let me see here. Marcus's, because it's changed orders. All right, so Marcus is taking the Denver Broncos to beat the Chargers, but I'm going to take the Chargers to beat the Broncos. Thursday night football tonight. It's in LA. Chargers, both teams have looked good. Both teams have looked good defensively. I'm just going to put it on Justin Herbert a little bit more than Bo Nix there. And then Saturday, we have 2 good, solid games. This is where, it's upsetting that these games are playing when there's college football playoffs on. We have the Houston Texans at the Kansas City Chiefs, and then we have the Pittsburgh Steelers at the Baltimore Ravens. For Houston and Kansas City, Marcus took the Kansas City Chiefs to win at home. I'm going to take the Houston Texans to win. I know Kansas City, with Mahomes being a little bit beat up, maybe. I think Houston could get it done. Their defense has been playing better. Their offense has been rolling. Kansas City has looked stagnant at times, barely beating teams, a lot of close games. Give me Houston for the upset against Kansas City. Marcus with the Chiefs, and then Marcus is taking the Steelers to beat the Ravens. I know the Steelers have had the Ravens number, but give me the Baltimore Ravens. I think this is the game that they win to reclaim their divisional title here. They can't beat the Ravens every time. Something's got to happen. So give me Baltimore at home, especially off that Lamar has been playing out of his mind. It was the Giants, but he's been playing very well too, like MVP quarterback. He is and could be a three-peat, this year still. Not a three-peat, but a three-time winner. So I'm going to go with Baltimore Ravens at home. Sunday, the 22nd, we have the Giants at the Falcons. This one's tough. Marcus took the Falcons. I think I like Michael Penix more, so I'm also going to take the Falcons. The Giants team has just been broken. Their defense has been broken. Atlanta has way too many weapons to really stop on that offense, and I think Michael Penix is going to maybe not ball out, but he's going to be serviceable to get him a win here. New England Patriots at the Buffalo Bills. Marcus and I are both taking the Bills. No doubt, no question with that, how that team's been playing, how they're rolling, how Josh Allen's going. Give us Buffalo. The Detroit Lions at the Chicago Bears. Marcus and I both are taking the Lions. Again, talked about it earlier. They do have the injuries, but their offense is still pretty good. Chicago, just Caleb Williams can't get it figured out. Unless he gets it figured out now, I just don't see it happening. All of a sudden, give us the Lions. Then we have Tennessee Titans at the Indianapolis Colts. We both are taking the Colts. Tennessee is starting Mason Rudolph, so might see a little bit better slinging it there. I don't know. But the Colts have looked pretty decent with Anthony Richardson back. Then we have the LA Rams at the New York Jets. One team's out, the other team's in. Give us the LA Rams. I'm also not going to take the Jets unless it's like a clear favorable win for them anymore. Even then, it's hard because clearly they were losing those games too. This Rams, they're fighting for that NFC West divisional title, which I did not expect them to be at in this point in time. Philadelphia Eagles versus the Commanders, both taking the Eagles. They beat them once, they'll beat them again. They don't have Eckler this time, and our defense is playing even better than before, I think. I don't expect us to lock down T-Mac again like he did, where they had one catch for like 10 yards. But I do expect us to be able to keep them in check, at least for the most part, again, in the passing game. Zach Ertz might be out. He's a big, reliable pass game catcher for him, for Daniels. Give me the Eagles, of course. Arizona Cardinals versus the Carolina Panthers. Both taking the Cardinals. Panthers have been competitive for the most part. They just lost to Dallas. Arizona, their team fighting for that NFC West spot too. Give us the Cards. Then we have the Cleveland Browns at the Cincinnati Bengals. Both taking the Bengals. Again, Bengals are fighting for a playoff spot. They're 2 games under 500. They definitely need to win these next 3 games to even have a chance. Give us Cincy at home. Minnesota Vikings at Seattle Seahawks. Both taking Minnesota. Of course, Marcus is a Vikes fan, so he's going to take them. I'm going to take Minnesota just because I think they have a better overall team than the Seahawks. Nitty-gritty NFC West team, of course, with the Seahawks, but give us Minnesota. Jacksonville Jaguars at the Las Vegas Raiders. Garbage overall. I mean, Marcus is taking the Raiders at home. I'm going to take the Jacksonville Jaguars. Mac Jones has looked not bad, I guess, is the best thing I can say. Been able to move the ball. They've been able to score a little bit. Vegas has not looked great. Um, put up 9 points against a very beatable Falcons defense. Give me Jacksonville. Marcus taking the Raiders, like I said. San Francisco 49ers at Miami. Marcus taking the 49ers. This was a tough one for me. I ended up taking the Dolphins solely because I think their offense is better. The defenses have been playing okay. The Dolphins' offense has been bad, but I just think that there's too much to take on Miami, while San Fran has not looked the greatest offensively with that too. So I'm going to take Miami at home. Marcus take the 49ers. Then we got Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the Dallas Cowboys. Marcus and I are both taking the Bucks. Fuck the Cowboys. Plain and simple. Then Monday night, December 23rd, New Orleans Saints at Green Bay. Packers. Marcus and I are both taking the Packers. Go Pack, go. With that, I know it's not a long episode or anything crazy. Unfortunately, didn't have anybody that was free to just film last second, and we still want to get some type of content out for you. So no, it's not the best, but next week for sure, Marcus will be back. We'll dive into some things that I've had some people reach out that wanted conversations on, opinions on. So we'll definitely save that for next week. Should be a good episode next week. Then right before Christmas, with Christmas being on Wednesday, we'll probably release the podcast on Wednesday, just so that way we can cover the Wednesday games before they happen. So with that, everybody have a good week before Christmas. Enjoy your second round playoffs, whoever's in the second round playoffs. Like and subscribe. Follow us on Insta, YouTube, Spotify, Facebook, all those other places, Twitter, X, whatever, Facebook, blah, blah, blah. Peace out.